So, isn't it so that you're taking on these same masculine roles, which you right now are raging about?
Yeah, I really was. And that is something that I only recently discovered was a flaw in myself. And that's why I wasn't really getting anywhere in the business world, because I was running with this masculine energy, this competition, the way that men do it. And that is actually, I felt convicted, and that's why I switched back into making my money the way that I do. I am a consultant.
As a business?
I switched over to a feminine energy model, which is not...
Which was what? You
so for example...
sell your body for money.
No, that's not true. For example, let's say I was a life coach. Okay, let's say I was a life coach. Let's say you were a life coach. Okay. Typically, in the man's world, in business, there's a set price, right? So coaching with me used to cost $2,000 for 3 months. I take you through this thing, and it was just cut and dry. Didn't matter who you were, as long as you were willing to pay the price, you could enter my coaching container and I would life coach you. What I found is that was not good for me as a woman, because I had all these guys who weren't serious about life coaching and working through issues. They just wanted my energy. They wanted to hop on a Zoom call with me and take my time as if they were going to be with me.
But working in the foot fetish place, I have guys come in all the time and they want to talk about, they go to therapy with their wife and they go to therapy alone, but then they have the same therapist as their wife, so they sit with me because I have no skin in the game and I have nothing to do with their lives. And they sit there and they talk to me and they're almost crying and they're like, I don't know who to talk to. Like, I have all these emotions.
And that is actually my ministry for the most part in my OnlyFans chats.
Stop saying ministry.
Well, I'm just saying.
Your OnlyFans ministry?
No, I'm telling you, men are not as good at accessing their emotions. Men access their emotions and feel safe in a sexual context when you do it right.
It wasn't very sexual.
So let's
but I'm just saying they feel
value.
comfortable with you because they understand you're not judging them. You're in a taboo space too, so they open up. Men open up.
Hang on. Men are much larger than women and stronger than women on average. You agree that that's true, right?
Yes, true.
Just on average,
true.
not every. Obviously, there's outliers of women who are much stronger than men, this type of thing. But on average, they are. So they actually have to control their emotions better. They can't be overly emotional.
Right.
They have to control their emotions because if they become, you have to let me finish. Hang on. Because if they succumb to their emotions, they can do a lot of damage. Not just to the weaker sex, but to the children they're supposed to protect, and also to other men, right?
Yes.
To other men, they can do a lot of damage. Women don't have this same burden. So when you say they're not as emotional, I think that they're perhaps as emotional, but hang on. I think that they control that emotion far better than women do.
Yes.
And what I've seen from you even is that you seem to have a hard time controlling your emotions.
I'm feisty, yes. And to your point.
Not feisty, trouble controlling emotions.
I get it.
It's not feistiness.
I get it. We can call it whatever we want.
You can fix her, Andrew.
Yeah, you can fix me. But Andrew, to your point.
No, I can't fix you.
But to your point, Andrew, what a lot of men are accidentally doing is instead of controlling their emotion and then having somebody to talk it through, going to the gym, they're repressing it. So it's like
that's not repression. So what you're talking about is actually a feminist viewpoint, right? It's not repression for men, nor is it toxic masculinity for men to control emotion. From a woman's standpoint, when they can't control their emotions, everything's going to look like repression. But when you see men explode, that's not a good look for men. When women explode, nobody gives a shit. They kind of laugh at them, right? Because they can't do very much damage. We just kind of scoff at them. We're like, what are you going to do about it, right? Men, on the other hand, must control emotion. They must.
But men have become scared.
They must move towards stoicism, and the reason they must move towards some form of stoicism is because they're fucking dangerous. They're dangerous to everyone around them if they cannot control their emotions.
Right.
Thing is that we've given a pass to women and tried to give this kind of example that women don't have to control their emotions, that it's good to free them. But it's not. Maybe women should also control their fucking emotions a little bit and not make everything about them, everything about me, everything internalized to me. but rather to look at things a little bit more logically. And so as we've gone through even your worldview logically, you realize there's a ton of holes here, right? There's a ton of holes in the logic that you have. You recognize this, right?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, if, for example, we got to, for whatever reason, spend a week together. Let's say we got to spend a week together. Let's say that.
$200.
Let's say
this panel is an exhibition of the absence of real men. If a real man showed up for these women, they would snap out of the delusion and confusion and fall into their feminine.
Right.
Feminism equals loneliness.
Yeah, true. I totally agree. I totally agree.
You can't totally agree.
That goes
Everything
against
you
everything
espouse
you
is the
value.
opposition to this.
It doesn't. What I'm telling you is there are actually so few healthy, mature, good men out there.
No, there's not. That's not
and
true.
I'm not blaming anybody. It sucks.
Then if men
You are a
have
good
all
man.
those-
I believe you're a good man, and I
But
believe
you're
you're
in
a
a
good
catch.
husband.
You're in a catch-22 logically, because if the thing is that you want that type of man, what you would maybe broadly consider a high-value man from your worldview, the only thing that you can produce for him is your pussy, by your own admission. And so if every other woman you're competing with has the same thing to offer him, why the fuck would he choose you? Can you explain that?
Because my pussy is a completely different experience. It has my soul attached
Oh, it's
to
the
it.
best pussy.
That's
out of
fucking
all the hundreds
disgusting.
of millions and billions of pussies.
I'm not
yours
saying
is
it's
just
the best. I'm
best.
simply saying to particular men, I am their exact taste.
She was the mouth that
And
got
it works.
away.
It's crazy.
So I think the whole
So-
point is that there's everybody
The
for
creme de
or
my cock.
there's somebody
I love
for
this. I love
everybody.
There's a lid for every pot.
There's somebody for everybody with different tastes, different logics, different solutions or problems and how to deal with them, different viewpoints. And it's all about trying to find your match and the person that you're the most compatible with and the person that you actually trust and are willing to work with long term.
And that's fine, but
she knows it.
By the logic of feminism that you're talking about, it's like it's massive deception. Like you're saying, feminism is saying that women are so empowered and we gotta get our power back and this and this and that. But
Feminism is
hold
just
on.
a branch of the patriarchy. It's toxic. It's just
You're
toxic
gonna need to
masculinity repackaged. That's all it
word
is.
Yeah, but all
becomes so
toxic
I don't agree with
masculinity
it.
is
So,
to you,
okay,
apparently, is
women
any
are
man who
literally-
disagrees with you. Any man who you think packages himself in a way that you don't like, you consider that toxic masculinity
Right.
by your own admission.
And
I'm
I know
not
for a
necessarily
fact
making
when
that judgment. I just know I have my particular taste.
Okay, so when I went to college, I literally took a class where I had to sit down and watch documentaries on toxic masculinity. Like it was actually taught to us. That is the epitome of brainwashing. Because before that, I didn't feel that men were toxic. I didn't feel like I
Grid
was
One
living in a toxic
Motorsports
society.
donated $200.
But in reality, that
Brian, Andrew, I am begging you, with tears in my eyes, please stop the old, irrelevant blonde hag prattle and let the rest of the panel that have dated in this decade speak. Thank you in advance.
Well, hang on, but they're engaging very well. All of them are engaging very well. This has been a really respectful panel. And the truth is, Grid One, you would be bitching if it was the other direction and there wasn't these kinds of exchanges. And you know it. You know you're my friend, but everybody's engaging in good faith. So Grid One, while you're right and the patriarchy prevails, they are engaging in good faith.
Did the one from Optimize ATX come through? This one, I'll pull it up. It might have. Did this come through?
Optimize ATX donated
Yes,
$200. This panel is an exhibition of the absence of real men.
That already came through? Okay, just wanted to double check.
I loved that comment, by the way.
I do. I'm going to move things a little on, at least in our notes with you. So you've made a bunch of these Instagram videos. You in your story yesterday, you talk of extorting men. Do you care to elaborate on that?
Yes. So basically all the tactics that are used in sales and marketing these days, the way that was even developed is because that was originally the feminine gifting. That was how we were designed to make sure we got our needs met from men. We would do these if we had to, if it came down to survival of us and our children, we learned how to be a little manipulative, how to extort somebody to get a loaf of bread to feed our babies or things like that.
That's your sinful nature being deceptive. Like we
I
have
don't.
that.
I would I wouldn't call it sinful. I would call it survival. I mean, we are weaker. We're weaker. We have the babies. We get abandoned sometimes, or the man dies, and we're on our own, and we're just left to our own devices. We've had to become. What does the Bible say? It's as shrewd as. What is
You
it?
see how far the termites have spread. and how
I'm
long
basically
well
thinking
they've
of the
dined.
concept of innocent as doves, but
Shrewd as a snake, but innocent as a dove.
Yes, and that's honestly, what I can understand is
So
that
wait.
not everybody's had my experiences.
Aside from the justifications for the extortion, can you tell us precisely how you extort men?
That was just one example. Okay, so I had this boyfriend for 6 months, wealthy business guy. I don't do these things where I have guys take me on dates and all this. If it's a man I vibe with and I enjoy his company, I just go to his house or he comes to my house.
not what you
We
said
eat a
at the
burrito.
beginning
Yeah, that's not what you were saying in the beginning at all.
Okay.
You got your burrito.
You guys
transaction.
you guys took some lines I said and you took it way out of
You
context.
said that you consider yourself a prostitute. How could they possibly misconstrue that?
I said the energy exchange of tits
Is
for
that
tat.
of a prostitute? Then
Is that of a
how could they
prostitute?
misconstrue? How did they get that wrong?
Oh man.
Because
even knows.
the word prostitute connotes a woman on the corner who is so desperate she will fuck anybody for
what
money.
you
But
are.
you're literally
That-
saying
I
That's
don't
what
fuck
you said
anybody.
you were. You said you were that thing.
That's
You
what
said
you're
I am a
literally saying.
Your exact words
I
were.
understand
I
because I
am
like-
just like a prostitute
Right.
as far as energy goes.
Because I love to
Censor it.
bring up these things
too many
and
people
help
gone
people
from
to
that angle.
understand how constrictive they're being with their particular language.
yeah, if only they could
Not
be
at the table.
prostitutes like you describe yourself
What's
as.
the
Then
difference?
their life would get
okay,
better.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. This wealthy businessman that I extorted, okay, I could have been requiring him to date me, to be taking me to nice dinners, to take me on trips. I could have required that. I could have said, this is the stuff I like to do, blah, blah. I'm not about that. So instead,
You
I
would
would
have
go
done
to
that
his house.
naturally, to be honest, if you were
Can I
really feeling you.
finish? I would
See
go
how
to
it
his
feels?
house. We would have like free dates. He got to sleep with me. He got to enjoy my company for 6 months. I needed to move out. He co-signed for my apartment, and in so doing was like, I got you. I got you. You need
Right.
something. You need
It
to
was
buy
an
you-"
exchange for
There was
your
an exchange.
vagina. You're
Okay.
sleeping with him, right?
It was more of a friendship thing because we had
Are you sleeping with him?
not anymore.
Well, yeah.
But you were?
I was up until my life transition. I moved out. He co-signed for
for
me, and
your
we
vagina,
split ways.
there was monetary exchange. That's called what? What is that called?
I got my own apartment. I did it myself with my own money. He simply co-signed because there's these, you know,
can
gotta make
label
free
it as
time.
friendships.
Okay,
but it's
can I just
whatever.
ask the
Yeah,
panel
whatever.
a
I don't
question?
care.
The whole panel. Real quick, hang on. Raise your hand if sleeping with a man so that he pays your bills, you consider that to be prostitution. Please raise your hand.
I thought it wasn't, sis.
Well, then we're done.
I'm
That's the
simply
end of it.
I am simply
That's the
saying.
end of it. That's it. That's it.
I am simply saying.
He's simply saying.
Even there's tons of wives out here prostituting themselves out to their husbands who
No,
they
that's
don't
not
love.
prostitution.
How that works.
They don't love them. They're not even probably sleeping with them, yet
No.
the bills are getting paid and they stay
Bills
with the
getting
man.
paid.
I have tons of friends
So
doing
you're
this.
saying,
The
hang on.
bill gonna be
Listen to the way you have to qualify this in order to make yourself look better.
I'm not
You're
I
literally
don't give
saying
a shit.
in
Yes, I'm at the corner.
relationships where a woman stays because she has no choice. She's prostituting herself to her husband. Now, let me ask you the counter to this. If a woman is with her man and she loves him and he's taking care of all of her bills, and she, in exchange, is staying at home taking care of his children. When he gets home, he has a hot meal, kiss on the cheek,
Yeah.
and she just adores him. Is she a hooker?
No,
Straight
that's a
up.
different energy exchange. That's not a tit
Yeah.
for tat. That's
so
a
then
love.
you are a what?
I'm a what?
You are a what then,
Right.
by that logic?
Okay, so I'll explain it this way. Right now in my life, whether we call it I'm in a dating phase, a non-monogamous phase, or a prostitution phase, until I meet the man who there is that love where it's not tit for tat. It's just I meet your needs because I love you, and you meet my needs because you love me. That's it.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that a woman who is not a prostitute, who's high virtue, has more of a chance of meeting a man who would fulfill all of those needs that she wanted versus a woman who is a prostitute?
Not necessarily.
Oh, come on, girl. You know you're lying
That is
right
just
now.
logic,
You're freaking
like,
lying.
I'm just simply telling you my definition of
It doesn't matter what your
prostitute is
definition
different than
is.
yours.
It doesn't matter what your definition
It's apples
is.
and
We need to
oranges.
work-
Then we can't have the conversation.
this isn't
Paint it
reality.
Why
as
not?
something
Why can't you have
else.
the conversation? It sounds like you're obfuscating and running away from it.
I'm
Do you
just
think
simply
it's
saying
more
orange juice,
likely
but it's
or
still
less
water.
likely?
Y'all have a
There can only be
different
one answer.
definition of
Hang on.
prostitution.
They're
There can
here to tell
only
us
be
what
one
men like
answer
and
to
what
this
men
because of
look
the
for.
law of logic, the law of
I
excluded
literally
middle.
speak to
One
men
at a
all
time.
day,
One
every
at a
day. I
time.
know exactly
What
what
I
they
was
want.
going to say was they're literally
okay.
coming from a male's perspective, telling us what men look for, what they like, what they don't like, and then you're saying, well, but I do this and it's fine. If they say they don't like that, you're not going to find a good man. I'm sorry.
These are not my type of
It doesn't-
guys.
They're not
Ugh.
the only men
You
that
like
think
the
this
light.
way.
You're
No.
not that type of
Wait, hang on. Earlier
Didn't
you
you
said
just say you
Brian
wanted to
was
date him?
perhaps
Well,
the
I do.
type of guy.
I'll put it to you this way. Obviously, we already established.
Wait a second. You
we would
said
not
that
be in a
Brian
marriage.
was your type of guy earlier.
I'm
the
saying-
switch up, I'm telling you, no
I'm
foundation.
saying I would enjoy getting to know Brian. We might have some sort of a dynamic going. Obviously, he's not going to pick me for his
And
wife.
let me ask you a question. How much would
That's
that cost
fucking
him, sweetheart?
disgusting.
Hang on. How much would it cost him to get to know you?
Oh, to be honest, I would hang out with him after because I have appreciated his communication skills, his ability to work through conflict. I have appreciated
that's
it.
an endorsement.
No.
I
but
have
before
enjoyed
you,
the energy
Before you knew him,
exchange.
how much would it cost him to hang out with you?
It would
Wait,
be free
let me
because we
answer.
already went through the cost exchange.
I'll answer. Would I?
Yeah, Brian, would you?
No, I.
Would you charge?
Of course not. Of course he wouldn't. No! Listen, I can even speak for Brian on this.
No!
There is
God, please,
way.
no! No!
It's not always a money value. Sometimes it's
Oh,
just
no,
the
there's
respect.
no way. There's not enough gold in the world. There's not enough tea in China. There's not enough countries you could give. There's not enough coconuts on the island. There is no possible way Brian would ever think twice. Just say. Just say.
Yeah.
Well, Brian.
Tell me I'm wrong, Brian. Go ahead.
That you would that no amount of money would make it to where you
We're all looking
be
at
open
you.
to that.
Open to what?
Her.
Open to what?
Her
Oh.
legs.
I mean,
Because
I
that's all
want to
she
be
can
polite.
offer.
I want to be polite, but I mean,
Be honest.
yeah, that.
I want to go home.
Like, so my thing is that a lot of guys will make exceptions. They'll be like, well, I wouldn't marry her, but I wouldn't sleep with her. The thing for me, though, is I'm not interested in a one-night stand, so I don't, and I'm not saying this to me, I don't know why Andrew's putting me on the spot here. You're putting me on the spot. I wouldn't even want to sleep with you once,
I'm not the one night stand type either.
unless your rent's getting paid.
But yeah, you started this whole
Yeah.
conversation saying
And you were
everything was
proud.
transactional.
It's okay, a lot of girls
everything.
wouldn't fuck me like
No, but
but
you
now you're
don't
going back on
understand.
your
The
word.
only
It's fine.
guys
It's not a
who
big
are
deal.
paying any sort of
I'll take the
rent
L.
I
are
mean, you're
men
being
who have
honest.
had whole relationships with me.
I know, but the point is that you started off this whole conversation saying that you only give time to men if they're giving you something.
Okay,
give
but
it
it's
just
not always
transactional.
money.
So
it's
if-
not always money. It could, like, for example.
But it's something.
The reason
Somebody- you
why,
have
for
to-
example, I would go, for example, just to get to know you better, because I appreciated your humility and correcting your mistakes and your conversation skills. I'm not saying we'd sleep together. I'm not saying there would be ever any money or I would expect him to pay for my meal. I'm simply saying human to human. He is a person I wouldn't mind getting to know a little better. That's
So
all.
would you give up your OnlyFans for a good man?
Of course I would. Of course I would. If he really wasn't comfortable doing it.
But what's the difference
But
between
gave
that
you
and the best
everything you
friend?
wanted?
What do you mean the best friend?
The best friend. Sorry.
A big
Not to
difference.
minimize that. But like, so you would say no to your OnlyFans if for your
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
but then why were you so against the saying no to your
Because we're
best
talking
friend?
about a job in a way that I make money versus a relationship. That's different values.
Whoa, what the hell is that?
It's
You know, that's
it's
totally
people
different.
versus
Yeah.
money.
I'm
But
not gonna
you
cut off-
extort people, so you can't say you value people.
Everybody extorts people.
No, it's not true.
It is
Wait,
true.
we have some
Not
Instagram.
there.
I think
It is.
I don't know if
There's
these are
no
the
way.
ones I'm looking. We'll do it later. Well, actually, really quick, fuck it, why not, guys? If you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Twitch, drop us a follow and a Prime sub. Nick, if you we got 1,000 people to hit the like button. We got almost 9,000 people on YouTube. Hit the like button, please, Nick. Twitch. Guys, go to twitch.tv/whatever, drop us a follow, drop us a Prime sub if you have one. We've got almost 2K viewers on Twitch. Guys, if you got a Twitch account, drop us a little follow in the chat. Guys, it's been 10 minutes since we've had a Prime sub. It's probably bugged. So maybe one of you guys could just like do a little test and make sure, like, you know, I think the woke overlords over at Twitch, they probably like might have tried to disable the Prime. Oh, there it is. Yo, Looser, thank for the Prime. Bleeding Honey, thank for the Prime. Skelty, thank for the tier 1. Appreciate it, guys. Lance 70. Thank you for the Prime, dude. You guys are legends. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follows, guys. Appreciate it. And then whoever just came in there, you can hide that, Nick. Okay.
You got to send those over. It's almost a combined 15K.
Oh,
we would sure
including
appreciate
Andrew,
it.
yeah. Yo, thank you for the
we
gifted
sure
10
would appreciate it
Durin.
if you would sub over on Twitch. Whatever's trying to grow that. So if you guys can get over from the Crucible audience,
thank you, Andrew.
give that sub. Give that sub over. It's been a great panel.
Good panel.
It's been very spirited. Of course, I blame the girl in red. It's all her fault. She started all of this.
Hey.
He's kidding. Thank you for the 10 gifted, Durin. And then, Nick, we're going to pull up some of her Instagram posts. I don't have the specific story. It's not loading on my end. There were so many Instagram stories, but we'll react to a couple of your Instagram stories. Just pull up the first one, I guess. So, wait, hold on. Make it one bigger, please, Nick.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So, before you play it, can you read the description?
Yeah.
there?
So I said, my favorite thing is to be compensated and taken care of for the value my sexy energy brings a person. That way I can take good care of myself and my kids and still stay a very feminine, authentic woman. I am really learning the art of receiving and going with the flow for the sake of my own good. I've spent years in the feminist trap of trying to prove my worthiness beyond my beauty. And at the end of the day, people keep wanting to pay me for pictures and videos of my sexy ass, way more than they want to pay me for any of my graduate level content. And this year, I am surrendering to that, taking the path of least resistance.
That's fine. Well,
resting more, turning into myself, healing my nervous system.
It's okay. And did you refresh it, Nick, before you?
No, didn't refresh it.
Just do a refresh. Audio.
These days, money.
I
have a little cash slut, a little hooker in me. I don't know how you want to say that, but it's just a primal, obviously, drive to provide for myself and my kids. I just love it when men are generous with me and pay me. And that doesn't mean that it has to be like a man I'm dating is like handing me all this money. It could just mean guys compensating me appropriately. Honestly.
So.
That's really sad.
And one thing I noticed about that clip, there's the cash slut thing. You're also wearing a cross.
That's crazy.
When you say that, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I do these little things on purpose because I'm trying to blend multiple different concepts, because to me, a lot of the problems in society is this really black and white thinking. And I'm trying to blend the idea that, listen, girls, I'm almost 40. I already got married, had kids, the whole thing. I'm in a different phase of life now.
Wait, so you're trying to blend Christianity and being a cash slut?
I'm just blending concepts, symbols.
But I asked you about the cross that you're wearing, and in the video you say what percent, something about being a cash slut? And you're trying to blend Christianity.
She said she had Brian, she did say, and I'm gonna make sure that this is in context for you. She has, quote, a little bit of hooker in her.
Yeah. I do.
So you're trying to blend Christianity with being a little bit of a hooker.
I'm not blending Christianity. I'm not saying I'm a Christian.
You said the word blending. You said the word blending.
Blending concepts, symbols and concepts.
Right, so you're blending.
Yes.
So because you responded to that because I asked you about the cross you're wearing, which is a Christian symbol.
Yeah, so I'm a provocateur. I love it. I love people coming at me.
Blasphemy?
If we want to call it blasphemy.
Well, let me ask you just a very quick question.
Because the cross,
and then if you don't mind, the gal in the back in the center, surprisingly,
important to me.
for some odd reason, even though she's a Pentecostal, she's been kind of based this evening. So I got to get her response to this too. But I have to ask you this question: are you familiar with the laws of logic? Honest answer. Are you familiar with the laws of logic?
Are you asking me or her or both?
No, to the blonde.
Oh.
Has a little bit of hooker in her.
My name's Desiree, the hooker cash slut.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm bad with names. It's actually
okay.
not an insult towards you. I'm just bad with names.
It's
so
okay.
Desiree,
Blonde is fine.
are you familiar with the laws of logic?
I'm not sure that I would understand it the way you do.
Fair enough. No problem. One law is the law of excluded middle. And so what this is saying is that a proposition is essentially either true or it's untrue. It cannot be somewhere in the middle. So when you say black and white, I'm not interested in black and white. From a logician standpoint, they are interested in actually what you would consider black and white, which is either a proposition is true or it's not true. So I need to ask you specifically, is being a prostitute good or is being a prostitute bad? So the proposition is being a prostitute good or is it being bad? And using that second law, the law of excluded middle, where we can't get into the gray area,
Okay.
is it good or is it bad?
For me personally, every situation I get into, whether it's prostitution, if we want to call it that, or whatever, I only do it because it feels good to me. So to me, it's good. Now, that doesn't mean that
prostitution is good.
only to me in the way that I do it, because that
but
feels...
we're only talking about you.
Yes, because it's different for everybody. It might not feel good to you, and
Wait,
so that
I'm
wouldn't
very
be
sorry.
right.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. Did you just say that prostitution feels good to you?
In the way that I do it, yes, it does. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it if it didn't feel good to me.
What? So then it's not a little bit of hooker. Prostitution in your worldview, good.
I wouldn't say in my worldview as if it's good for everybody. I'm simply saying...
But it's good for you.
For me, yeah. It works
So
for me.
then you're not a little bit of hooker. You're a lot of
I'm
it.
a lot of it a hooker.
A lot of it a hooker.
I
Okay.
guess, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we got some clarification.
Yeah.
Now, going around the table, I just want to ask the same question. If you can just raise your hand. Is prostitution good? If it's good, raise your hand.
Oh.
If it's
Sex work. Sex work might be a better way to say it.
Ask,
Sex work?
Are the
Sex
people who
work?
raise
Is
their
that
hands? Are the
strippers,
people who raise?
OnlyFans
Hang on. Just relax. The people who raise their hands, are you prostitutes?
No, if it's a consensual thing between two adults, like in Amsterdam, and you want to do that, and you're not hurting anyone else, you're not doing it with underage children or anything like that, and you guys
Yeah,
wanna
no,
make
I
it,
understand.
then I think that's perfectly
yep,
okay.
I totally understand your
No,
position.
That's not what I do. That's not what
Yeah.
I think is right. I
then
should
why'd
do
you
it,
raise your
but
hand?
I
And then
understand
to the other gal who said yes, are you a prostitute?
I am not a prostitute, but
Have you been one?
Have you ever done sex work?
No, I've not done sex work.
Okay, so then let me ask this question. This is my very quick follow-up. If prostitution is good, why don't you engage in it?
You just do it.
So it is good for specific situations. I don't do it because I have chronic health conditions and because it is not good for me personally to engage with, because I don't need that kind of exchange.
So let us assume for a second you did not have the chronic health conditions. Would you, and you knew it would make you a lot of money, would you do it?
I've considered it, just because I do erotic art and I do a lot of different things.
Wait, hang on, back up. What is erotic art?
Well, I draw other models, other people, in erotic, but artistic, passionate, and a very...
What does erotic mean in this sense? Does that mean they're having sex while you're drawing them?
That has happened, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So you have considered having sex while a person draws you, I assume you consider that to be, hang on, I just want to make sure I get this right. I assume you consider that to be prostitution.
No, I don't consider that prostitution. I mean, no one's getting paid there. And
But if they were, would it be prostitution?
that would be more like porn. And I don't
sex
know
work.
if
Should we
porn
call
is
it sex work?
prostitution?
Shouldn't we call it sex work as a
Well,
more broad
isn't
term?
pornography prostitution?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's call it sex work. Can we just switch the term?
Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to give a pass
Well,
on. We'll just call it sex work, as though
I mean,
that's not prostitution.
okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So just
You
to go
missed,
off
Brian.
of
You
your
missed.
own
You
point.
failed. You failed.
we tried.
So just to go off of your own point, prostitution, is one thing, and by law it is in some places illegal. However, porn, once you bring a camera into the picture, it is perfectly legal to do. So,
Sure.
which is why, like, in general, prostitution I think is a good thing because it helps a lot of people psychologically get the release that they cannot get from the majority of
Have you not
people.
seen the porn statistics?
But let us assume we're
But we're not
deviating.
talking about porn. We're talking about prostitution.
Hang on. I'm going to give her a chance to respond to all this, by the way. I really am, but I just want to make sure we get this clear. Were it so that you could make a moral distinguish, so not all laws are moral, right? Can you make a moral delineation between having sex on camera for money versus having sex on the street for money? There's not really a moral delineation there, right?
There's not, and I do not think that prostitution should be illegal in any way.
Right.
Just like porn is not illegal. Just
Got
because
it.
there's not that much distinction, which is why combining it into the entire sex work combination and conversation wouldn't quite fit, because prostitution is different from pornography only because of the law.
Yeah, only because of the law, but not
Only.
morally, right?
But
Yeah,
no.
it's the same
No.
thing morally, right? Yeah, okay. So then
It's
to the
similar
Galvin-
morally.
What's that?
It's similar morally because porn is also acting, and a lot of people on there are doing it for the entertainment of other people who ask for it versus
Yeah, but that's
one-on-one
prostitution
situations.
too. It's entertainment for the purpose of the person asking for it.
A lot of times it's for the therapeutic purposes and for the
What do you mean therapeutic? It's because
Well,
guys
because
want to
certain
jerk
people
off to
have
it.
different kinks, for
Like,
example.
come on, like, let's be real.
Okay.
Go
It's
on
not
a walk.
therapy.
Go on a
It's
walk,
a bunch of
take deep
DJs who want to
breaths.
jerk off to it,
Therapeutic.
right?
But the thing is that people's sexuality carries so much shame innately that they can't go. A lot of people feel they can't go and access those parts of themselves in any area of society except maybe with a sex worker or a pornography thing. And so what I have loved about let's just call it what it is. I love going to strip clubs because we just all know what we're here for. There's no freaking guys lying to me and saying they want to marry me when they just want to sleep with me. It's just, let's have a good time. It's just on the table. I think it's more ethical, to be honest,
Why is it more ethical?
because it's a clearly expressed, honest, this is what you want, this is what I have to offer, this is how much it costs, here we go. Versus, again, many women, we've all had these experiences with the lines with guys. They take
but
us
why
on
would
a
that be?
date.
I don't understand. Wait, hang on. Hang on. I don't understand why that would be more ethical. If the delineation
there's no
line is
line.
just, hang on. If the delineation line is just, well, he says that he wants to go watch strippers, strip, and I'm going with him. Why is that somehow more ethical than if he tells you, I don't want to go watch strippers strip with you? I don't get that.
I wasn't even saying that context. I was saying, as a human being, when I enter a strip club, especially me being a woman, when I enter a strip club, I feel a lot more safe than if I go, for example, to a concert or some other thing surrounded by guys who think that they can come up to me and tell me whatever line to get whatever they want from me. If I go to a strip club, I know what these men are here for, and I'm only here because I'm fine with it. It's a safety because of the transparency and the honesty of everything's just out on the table of why we're all here versus all these deceptive little
That's
games.
super weird, though. I don't actually understand that.
It's
if
just
if
real
you're in a
talk.
strip club, do you think that women who work in strip clubs are more or less likely to be sexually assaulted than like a secretary.
They're actually a lot less likely because they actually have the street smarts. I'm not talking about the women who are just so sheltered they don't actually ever get into any danger. Of course, they're physically safer. But let's say I'm a social worker.
So you think that prostitutes are less likely to be sexually assaulted than secretaries?
I'm saying it's simply, okay, I'll put it to you this way.
Yes
If you drop a secretary in the middle of the street in Long Beach because her car broke down, girl's not going to have a good time. You drop a stripper, she's good. She's street smart. It's true.
I actually interviewed strippers. Let me counter with.
So do I.
That is a lie. That's my work.
I talk to these people all day, every day.
Hang on. If a secretary got dropped in Long Beach,
too late.
Statistically, she'd probably be fine. But if a secretary became a stripper, the statistics of her getting SA'd dramatically increase. Same thing if she's in any kind of sex work.
Okay, but you're looking at the wrong variable. You're blaming the sex work for the danger. It's not that.
She's putting herself in a situation where it's literally just men that do not respect them.
You know where I got abused the most?
I'm trying to say something.
In the church.
Okay.
Oh, for God's sake.
Well,
that's where I got abused the most.
Okay, the church, of course, every sector in life has abusers.
Well, it's really funny that you bring that up because in public school, you're far more likely to be SA'd than if you're inside of a church.
I was very abused in the church, in school, in my own home, everywhere I've gone. I felt the most safe in strip clubs.
Can you read this?
Sex work is only good for the strumpets and the devil. Imagine losing your soul, your family, your morals, and your self-worth for someone to pay a stick pee-pee in you. Or pay to stick a pee-pee in you. It's disgusting.
That's fucking disgusting.
Oh, could you read this?
Holy shit. Some women are worthy of their presence. Among other things, they balance the evolutionary nature of the man. They bring peace. Blondie, that is not you. You are everything but peace.
Andrew, there's a little speck on your microphone. I've been noticing it all night. I'm about to have a aneurysm. Don't do Andrew. You're killing me, bruv. Thank you. Woo. Okay, let me pull up these supers we have. Maddie, can you read this? Thank you for the Australian, bro.
Brian, I know I'm in the same room, but I'm nervous to ask. But let me on the podcast, man. I want to debate as well. Also, stop dirty talking to me behind cameras. It's rude.
I'm exposed. I have no idea what this guy's talking about.
They're kinky too.
All right, it's out there. Yes, Okay. Anyways, all right. Thank you, Ante Kosovic. Thank you, bro. Thank you for the Australian 200. What is that? Like a croissant or some shit? Okay.
Take you on a date? I've never dated anyone for just sex. As a man, I've only ever approached a woman with the intent to date. Yet afterward, I'm the one who gets left behind because I'm so safe. Your logic is BS, brown shirt.
Damn.
Because
that's an exception, though. I feel for that guy. There's a lot of these nice guys that are like that. I'm not saying there's not. It's just there's a lot that aren't. So it's rough out here trying to sort through. That's all I'm saying.
A lot of sort through.
A lot of sorting through.
You got to sort. There's sorting. There's a sorting process. There's a testing system. You got to learn. There's a sorting system.
Get a burrito.
You got to sort. Very complicated.
Do what you got to do.
Now. Oh, we have another video. Let's let's do. Go ahead. Play the other video. Can you try the copy and paste? I want to try to see if we can get Andrew on this.
This is a really good one.
Wait, what? What do you mean, press on any of them? And then can you control?
Yeah, that's me.
So control click on Andrew, and then drag him over to the other side. Yeah, but a little up. It should be magnetic. It's gonna. There you go. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Play it.
I'm real talky right now, ladies. The reason they slut shame us is because once a woman is fully empowered in her sexuality, no shame's gonna touch her. She's fully confident. She's a healthy grown-ass woman. She's very selective with who she shares her sexual energy with. She knows her body. She knows what she likes. She never disrespects her body. I never disrespect my body. What? I do all of what I do because that's where my pussy wanted to go. We have adventures. You know what I mean? So once you figure out, though, ladies, that you can monetize pussy in whatever way you want, whenever you
reason, ladies. Now, you don't have
Holy
to
fuck,
be
the wind.
single per se. Go
What are you
do
in the
some
wind
lap
tunnel? What the
dances,
fuck?
Have dates with guys, whatever you gotta do.
I'm just in a real.
Wait, so you said monetizing the pussy.
But then
I
I
just
also
wanna make sure I
clarified
know,
and said
how
that
old did you
doesn't
say you
have to
were?
be sex. That could be essentially you're monetizing your feminine essence.
But you really
Wait,
believe
so-
that's
Yeah, but hang on real quick. I just want to make sure. How old did you say you were?
38.
38? Whew, you really put on the makeup, man. That looked like a different person.
Hey, be
Literally,
nice.
that looked like a different human being than the one who's sitting in front of me. Right? I'm not gonna lie. It looked like a different person.
It was the lighting was. It was the lighting.
I was out at the
It-
pool with
Andrew-
my
That was
kids
not
with a
the
hat.
lighting.
Andrew,
Are you
And it was a
serious?
filter. There was a filter
There was a
on there. I
filter.
wasn't wearing makeup. I was just out at the pool, and I just quickly
was
made
windy.
this video. It was windy. The sound
The-
wasn't great. The point
the
was
light was not hitting her
that
correctly.
when a woman gets to the point where no shame can touch her sexuality, she is free. Ladies, that could
fake
just
freedom.
mean that you become a model if you want or whatever, but you're in a sense you're owning your body, you're owning your sexiness, and you're okay with monetizing that if you want. You don't have to. I'm not saying that.
No, I know.
I'm simply saying it's a very empowered place to be, to know. I mean, I got, bikini people wear these bikinis and we'll send you money and just take the pictures. There's a lot of perks to just being
But you're
a
talking
sexy
about men
soul.
specifically. You're talking about men, monetizing off of men specifically.
No, she said monetizing.
Anybody.
pussy,
I have
think, right?
women
Monetizing
actually,
pussy.
you would be surprised. I have a lot of female clientele.
I think it's fake freedom though, because you're feeling your desires and it feels good right now, and I don't know what happened in your past where it's like you feel like you're now getting your comeback, but it's false. It's not true freedom. You're a slave to sex. You're a slave to having to sell your body to get something in
Honey,
return.
I don't have to sell my body. I sell
But
my
that's what
body
you're
because it's
talking
fucking
about.
fun.
You're literally your whole
I'm
motto.
simply
Wait,
saying
wait.
I am
Can you say that
liberated
one
to do
more
it.
ti- Can you say that one more time, just the way you said it?
Okay, I can't even remember.
You said you
It's
sell
fun.
your body.
because it's fucking fun.
Isn't
it's
that
very
prostitution?
fucking fun. I told you I'm a prostitute.
Oh,
it's
okay.
already
No,
out
you
of
were
the
not.
bag.
You were saying you weren't a prostitute.
Because I was trying to help
No,
you guys
because you
have a
just
more
have no
liberated
reality. You just
perspective,
keep
but it
going left
wasn't
and
going
right.
anywhere. So fine, I'm a prostitute. We can call it that. I don't give a shit. Yes, I'm a prostitute. I stand at the corner and I suck whatever dick pays the right price. Woohoo! You guys found out.
Keep going.
Awesome.
Tell us more.
Stop.
Tell us more.
So do you? Oh, okay.
No.
Do you want to talk about blowjob
te-
tricks?
tell-
What do you want
tell
to do?
Tell us more. I want to hear more of the scope
Okay.
of the.
Okay, do you want
the
I got a
prostitution.
great idea. I will tell you the one example of when it really was a true prostitution situation. Do you want to hear it? Okay. So, I love this story. Okay, it was so fun. So, I decided I'm just going to try this. What is the big deal with the prostitution? Can I do it? Can I actually go fuck a guy and just get the money right there? Okay, so I met a man on whatever these sites where you meet the business guys, whatever it was,
Backpage.
Seeking Arrangements or something like that.
Yeah.
Seeking Arrangements, I think. And of course, I vetted him. I made sure, I like the look, I like the vibe, he's respectable, blah, blah. We arranged it beforehand. We pre-established a price. He's gonna take me to this nice dinner. I love steak, very expensive dinner. If things go well, I'm happy to go to his house. If I go to his house, the price is gonna be what the price is. I stepped it to him.
Well, how much was the price for the dinner?
It was just the dinner.
Oh, you just covered the dinner.
Yeah, it was just like a normal date.
So how much was the price for the carnal knowledge after the dinner?
Carnal knowledge.
I mean, a girl's gotta have her secrets.
No, I'm just
There's
curious.
no secrets here.
This is a safe space. You're with the girls. You're with the gals. You're with
All
the
right,
gals.
girls, so this is what it was. It was my rent. It was my rent. $2,700.
Woo!
Damn,
$2,700.
that's an
But
expensive.
isn't that desperate?
That's a lot of money for some
I wasn't
pussy.
desperate because I
Just saying.
didn't have to go home with
Can
him.
I
I
ask
could have
a
just had a
quick
nice
follow-up?
meal and went my way. But I vibed with the man.
Wait, do you
I
think
liked
that's
the
empowering? Like,
conversation.
really?
And I had never. Let me just real talk you. My parents are very young. They had me like as teenagers. So my parents are only like 57. This man was 56. I kind of had a little kink. I had never been with an older man like that close to my dad's age. We vibed. The conversation went well. I felt safe with him. I felt respected. We don't have to.
Nick, why?
Well,
Nick,
I
be
do
nice.
just have a very quick follow-up.
Point being, he
I
put
wanted
the
to ask
money
you,
in
do
my
you-
purse when I went to leave, and I was like, "What's this money for?" And he was laughing. I forgot that that's what I was even doing because I had had such a good time.
Aw. That's such a wholesome prostitution.
That's so sweet.
Julia Roberts. You were Julia Roberts in Pretty.
Yes,
So-
I was. It was
Wow.
fun. I was living my best life. It was a
deceived
bucket
you.
list thing. It was a bucket list thing.
Yeah,
And
I get it.
was
I
like,
get it.
What is
But
the
let me
big
ask you
deal?
a very quick follow-up. Hang on. So, do you consider yourself to be a truth teller?
Yes.
Is that is a thing which you consider yourself to be?
Yes.
So I just have to ask you this. In truth, would you recommend that most women follow your lifestyle?
I would not say most. No.
What about your daughter?
Good to know.
My daughter would be fine living my lifestyle
That's
because
fucking
I've trained her
crazy.
from the
Damn,
beginning
rough.
of how to do it.
Holy
Wait, what?
crap.
Why would you know?
Why would you
better
want
than
to teach
what?
your daughter to
Heck.
sell her pussy?
We
That's
gotta
fucking
call CPA
disgusting.
on
I'm not saying she has to sell her pussy. I'm simply saying I am raising my daughters to feel empowered to make their money
That's not
whatever way feels
empowering.
good.
That's not empowering
Aren't
at
they
all.
sexual?
That's your opinion.
It's not
That's
your
your
opinion. It's
opinion.
fact. You know it's not empowering.
Guess
It's
what?
not.
Guess how bullied my daughters get because they're the it girls.
Because the mom is a prostitute?
No, the kids have no idea what I
Well,
do.
eventually they
will,
will, though.
They
But
will.
guess
They
what?
will.
I have empowered my daughters to come home. And because they are also little bad bitches, they're not holding on to their trauma. They're not getting eating disorders when the girls are talking about their
know
big
in the
asses.
future.
I was getting eating disorders. I was getting raped. I was getting all these things.
Don't say that.
Well, okay.
Don't say that.
I
You
was
gotta
not being
say
treated
that.
well because I was raised by the good mom who we don't do this and we don't do that and that's
You don't
not
think it's
even
just because you made bad decisions? You
Yeah,
did
I
that
no,
yourself.
it's because
yourself?
I was
Mom.
literally. We can't go into it. It's
I'm not
too-
talking about that part.
You
I
can
mean,
read
like,
my books.
I'm not
My
talking
full
about that part. I'm
story is
talking about, like,
there.
in general, you've
Read
made
the
bad
book.
decisions, and now you're telling your daughters to continue those bad decisions.
yeah.
No,
keep
What's wrong with you?
no, I'm telling my daughters,
What is wrong with
you
you?
are so fucking valuable. You put it to him. That boy wants to talk to you.
Open your
Have him
legs,
bring you a
daughter.
necklace.
But open your legs
What?
first.
I am
You
not
tell them
saying
that their body is a
Are you for me?
temple.
I'm not going to defend myself.
Most things are
Wait,
taught,
can I
not
finish the
taught. They're
follow-up?
gonna look
Just
at
a
you
very quick. hang
because
on.
you're getting
Just a very
triggered
quick
because you know
follow-up.
it's
No,
true.
Wait, ask-
I
the
am
reason asked
raising
this question-
empowered
hang on,
women
stop,
do whatever they want. They're not going
Just
to
let
be
me finish the
shamed
follow-up.
for doing whatever they want to
You
do.
can't help yourself. You need to calm down for a second. Just let me finish the follow-up. The reason I asked the question, here's the follow-up. If you could prescribe to most women to be virtuous, or for most women to act in a way that you act, where everything is transactional, which would you prescribe in truth?
That's a complicated question. I would say, to be honest, if I had advice for blanket to every
Now,
woman,
let me give you the question again, so that you understand it. If you could prescribe that most women be virtuous, or most women follow a lifestyle like
Or-
you follow,
so virtuous
not-
or
Let them
No,
ask
stop,
the question.
stop,
Let them
stop.
ask the question.
virtuous, meaning follows chastity, temperance, all of the different, what you might consider cardinal virtues, we'll just make it easy, or philosophical virtues. Or they could follow your lifestyle of purely transactional based interactions with men, which could lead to sex that pay their bills. Which would you recommend for most women?
I would recommend my lifestyle for most women until we get to a different place in society where it would be safe for women to fall
So they're
back
just-
into the more traditional way of being.
They're just going to be dodging STDs for the rest of their life.
I mean, this is a very simplistic
Unplanned pregnancies.
way.
They're just going to have abortions every 2 days.
No,
like-
they'll never be able to form an actual connection
No,
with
yeah,
anyone.
they're going to be too broken to even form an actual connection with a really good
He's gonna be
man.
throwing a hot dog down a hole.
What?
That's not true.
I mean, you're right.
You guys, pussy is actually a muscle, so that's actually false. A vagina is a muscle. I hate to break it to you. It needs to have exercise, or it gets very loose and not very fun.
Yeah, I feel like you. That comment is so real. You're grooming your daughters to be.
Listen, that's not even true of female physiology. That a vagina needs to be worked out by a bunch of penises. That's ridiculous.
I fought for this country. This is what I get to see. I'm glad Andrew and Brian tried. But holy hell, our baptism is D-Day. You are made over and of standard.
Anyway, why do you think that a vagina needs to be worked out with penises? Why do you think that that's part of a female's physiology? That's ridiculous.
It doesn't have to be a penis. She can do her Kegel exercises with weight. She can have her own orgasms that she can cause. There's many ways to exercise a vagina.
She can work out the entire bottom half of her body without ever doing masturbation or anything.
But guess what? Sex is really fun.
She can do all of these things. Why do you think it requires any sort of masturbation, penetration? That's completely made up. The vagina is not going to go bad because you're not masturbating.
It actually is a muscle. It will atrophy. You're actually
go
wrong.
do some squats.
I'm not actually.
It's a lot more
complicated. That would be that female nuns, their vaginas atrophy.
Yeah, their vaginas inside, they get very numb. They get very numb.
Andrew, that's our
and
band.
they start to atrophy.
Andrew, that's going to be our band name.
Atrophy
Pussy. That's our band name.
All I have to say is you guys obviously don't like sex that much.
Vagina is going to be numb? Really?
The numb.
Yeah, but there's a lot of numb vaginas.
What kind of music are we doing, Andrew? Hard rock? We're gonna do, you play guitar, I'll do vocals.
I want sources.
Oh, you remained a virgin your whole life. Your vagina doesn't work anymore.
Kim
It's the most insane
Kim Anami
thing.
is
the craziest take I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard a lot of them.
Says the man who has a penis instead of a vagina, but he's telling you how vagina.
Wait. Andrew, confirm or deny? Do you have a penis? Andrew, confirm. Do you have a penis?
Do you have a vagina too? We don't know about.
Most doctors who work on women's vaginas are male. And you know that their success rate is much higher than that of females.
And they make their money by telling us that we need them to fix something about our vagina because we can't just go figure it out ourselves.
They do have to fix things about your vagina.
They wouldn't have to if every woman was sexually liberated and understood her own body.
Sexually liberated.
Oh man.
Like don't male doctors who are gynecologists fix your vagina? I'm sorry, am I wrong?
I don't go to gynecologists. I don't subscribe to Western medicine.
You don't go to gynecologists?
I actually delivered my own babies. I learned how to be a midwife, and my last baby, I delivered her myself in my bathroom alone by myself, and I also did my own prenatal care. So I am not the typical woman. That's why it gets annoying to get judged as if I'm just like a common.
I had a friend who had roast beef,
okay,
and she got to cut off in surgery.
All right, so hold on. So
you don't take antibiotics?
What was I gonna?
I did get I got bit by a black widow 3 times in the same spot, and my arm was starting to not do well with that, so I did take antibiotics for that. But I'm very conservative with antibiotics.
I care, and the reason I care is because who invented those antibiotics?
A man or a woman? Do you use an iPhone? Do you drive a car? Do you have a home? Like literally all built by men.
A woman
I'm
created
not speaking against men. I wasn't saying anything about men. I was talking about vaginas.
The entire GPS system.
Okay,
wait, I have a question for you. What I don't know if you'd be down for this. Do you think we could get your previous, like your husbands, on the show? Do you think they'd be down to come on?
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Well,
That would be a really cool
with
show.
you, like so they can't like so it's a conversation.
Okay, so the last one that beat me, obviously that's not a safe situation.
Sure. Well,
the
we
one
have
before
security.
that,
we can handle shit.
Honestly,
If
he's
he put
still
a
very
hand on you,
concerned.
fuck him up.
Yeah, talk to.
Would you? Okay,
Well,
so
no. Like,
I
like,
love that.
if he were to attack you in the studio.
Outside,
he's
you on
such
your own.
a coward. He would never even. He's not
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
come
not.
face to
Okay,
face
so
with me till
listen,
we're in court.
this is not my request, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't care about any of that.
The first husband is too conservative. He wouldn't feel comfortable with these types of
Oh,
topics.
the conservatives love the whatever podcast.
No, I'm just saying he's not comfortable fully with his own sexuality. So these
then he's not conservative.
What's that have
conversations
to
would
do?
make him very
Okay,
uncomfortable,
we'll
and he
keep
wouldn't
it.
want to really
We'll keep
engage.
it. We'll keep
He's
it.
very
It just would be
like
very
Christian.
interesting, but-
We'll keep it clean. We'll keep it clean. If you're watching, let us
Ian?
know.
Hi, Ian.
His
You know
name's
what?
Ann?
Ian, I-A-N. I have to say, I do really appreciate my first husband that I had the kids with. I can understand, and I have told him this many times. It was at least 51% my fault that our relationship didn't work well because I was the educated
really?
one.
You're kidding. I never would have guessed.
Look at that's growth. That's growth. That's growth.
I have, you guys, I know I come across as cocky, but that is genuinely because I have evaluated each, like, I will apologize to you guys. If after I'm like, I was so rude, I'll apologize.
I'd like an apology.
Sometimes it takes a minute. I am sorry.
He
I will
wants
suck
an
your
apology.
dick. I'll suck his
Wait,
dick.
but why, so why is
Hang
it your
on,
fault?
hang
Why
on,
is it your
listen.
fault? Or why was it your fault?
Hang on.
Because I did the thing
just a
where
second.
instead of loving
I have
the
to
man,
hold for 1 second. Listen, Brian is very partial. If you want the best apology, to bows. If you could do a bow for Brian,
see,
I'll bow.
I don't
then we
even
will
want to
know
bow.
that you are actually sorry.
like this.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Whoa, not that kind of bow.
I'm just messing
no,
with
no,
you.
no, no,
I'm
no.
just-
That's
I will.